Welcome back.
Welcome.
The Book of Single Truth.
Was sealed in crystal by Battler. Until the seal is undone.
I can't even stick the key in the keyhole. What is this?
A new place.
I suppose so. You can remove this, right?
Of course. They're in a vast, dimly lit space.
What the hell is this?
You'll find out soon.
Is that just the cathedral, like, upside down?
Sort of. To sum it up in a phrase, it was like a trench in the ocean floor. No, that's not quite right. It was a library. However, the number of books and the height of the shelves vastly surpassed all of those that existed in the world of humans. If height is the measure of greatness, then the gods must surely be giants taller than mountains. This place appeared to be a library big enough and grand enough for such gods. Each individual book was no larger than those from the human world. However, the shelves holding them stood like the walls of a valley, or rather a deep-sea ocean trench. So, Ange and the others looked like little more than a few small butterflies who had wandered into this vast library, like minuscule deep-sea fish swimming about all alone in an ocean pit. This is more like ice than a seal. If you just steal it away from Battler and put it under the rays of the sun, it will fade away by itself as time passes.
Isn't there some way to just smash it open?
Do you thaw your frozen fish by smashing it with a hammer?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, sounds good.
Sorry, I was always terrible in cooking class.
Whoa. Kitties, thaw this seal. Oh, good. Cats.
Cats.
When Burncastle whispered, from the dark ocean pit deep below them, several emerald green glints appeared and gathered like a school of fish. Burncastle threw the Book of the Single Truth down to them, and only after several seconds passed, the school of fish seemed to gather around it and carry it away. Those few seconds made it clear just how deep this bookshelf trench went. Ange was once again dumbfounded by this unimaginably vast and godly library. We can just let them handle the rest.
You really will let me see what's inside?
If that is your wish, I'll grant it. And of course, I won't be able to read it myself without that key of yours. Ange silently gripped the golden key in her pocket. This journey has been so long and so strange.
In search of the truth from 12 years ago, I left my home, met President Okanogi, Madame Akusa, and at some point that adventure became wrapped in the illusion of the witch. However, here I am. Shumieva's diary is here. The truth inside it is sitting right before me.
Rest for a while. Even I don't have enough free time to spend it all with you.
I'm not really tired.
Erica, serve Angie some tea or something. Yes, my master! Erica popped into existence out of nowhere and bowed to her master.
Burncastle, if you're planning to use me to steal both the key and the book, you won't get off easy.
How dare you say such a thing to my master!
Sorry. After my long experience with witches, I've decided not to trust normal words.
Ooh. Very well. I'll promise it with the red truth. When the seal in the Book of the Single Truth is dissolved, you, Ange, will be the first to read it. Is that good enough for you? For some time, Ange considered the witch's words, searching for some sort of trap hidden within them. There's no guarantee greater than a witch's red truth. Ange understood this well enough. If she started to doubt even this red truth, there would be nothing left to trust in this entire world. If she began to suspect even this, then even the truth would no longer be truth. Such ambiguity, I couldn't handle it. Is there something more you want?
No, I'm fine.
If she wanted to read the Book of the Single Truth, she would need Burncastle's assistance. Ange finally realized that she had nothing to gain by complaining more and annoying this witch further.
Once you've dissolved the barrier, call me right away.
Of course. I also want to read it as soon as possible. I'll call for you at once. Burn spun away from them, then vanished into the dark bookshelf's trench. Ange saw a school of emerald green fish appear and follow behind Burncastle. Could those be her familiars? She stared at the emerald lights that resembled some sort of deep-sea fish. Ange was poked from behind. Rude. Let's go, Comrade Ange.
You're creeping me out, so please just call me Angie.
Then you can call me Erica-sama.
Let's get going, Comrade Erica.
Oh, these two together, it's perfect. The pair began to swim in the direction Erica indicated. Swim seemed a better word for it than fly.
So what is this place? It's way too big to be called a library.
It's not like you'll be able to remember its name, so why not just call it the library?
Decide what I can or can't remember, tell me.
It's the great witch of theatre-going drama inspecting its noble city of carefully selected books.
Yeah, library works fine.
Knew you'd say that. Angie, please. Don't ask questions that the answers you'll be uncomfortable with. And stuff. City of Books. Yeah, the name fits. The bookshelves on either side of this canyon are skyscrapers. Oop.
If I think of those emerald green lights flowing beneath us as headlights on a highway, then this really does seem like a city of books. They aren't normal books, are they?
That's right. Each volume is packed with an ensemble play. They look like books from here, but if you open one up, you'll find a whole world inside.
So even our long tale is only one of these.
Great witches who live on a far, far higher plane than we do are hardly any different from a creator or god. From their perspective, our little tale is worth little more than a single book, if it's even worth that. Let me that real quick.
I guess, Angie.
I think it's probably Ange. I don't see why Eric will be narrating.
From a theatergoer's perspective, our individual lives are hardly worth anything at all. If they're recording an entire world in a single volume, then my life probably isn't even worth a single line.
Yes, that line right there.
We're the main characters. I am, and so are you.
That's right. Even if the tale of the gods doesn't mention us, we're always the main characters in the stories we write for ourselves. Becoming aware of the fact is the first thing that separates witches from humans.
Ryukishi's really trying to get his money's worth out of the Photoshop job he did on this.
It's great. They were on a balcony, which was really a room-sized section that had been dug out of the bookshelf, with no guardrail along the cliff. It didn't go in very deep, so it looked like a room that had been cut in half. It was filled with the tools of everyday life, so this was Erica's hidden house. My master has ordered me to serve you some tea, so if you don't feel like drinking, I'll have to pour it into you with a funnel.
If you try, I'll have to serve you some matcha.
Oh, matcha.
Nothing, just talking to myself.
Ignoring Erica as she made tea, Ange looked down upon the bizarre, otherworldly scene below. Until Erica finished getting the tea ready, the scene held Ange's gaze like it was sucking out her soul.
This might sound strange coming from me.
What? Oops.
Yeah,
oof.
I'll say...
I won't do about points. I feel like Ryushi deserves a point for that.
Yeah, I'll say 2 points, one for each line.
Yep, sounds good. You actually made a deal to throw away your life to learn the truth, huh? That's impressive.
Had nothing to gain from life. It was easy for me to trade away the time I had left.
My master really does take to idle whims. To think that you would make a contract for the meaningless life of a powerless girl. They're just... They're so spiteful.
Huh.
And Jay chuckled, not bothering to argue. That was exactly right. How incredible that Bowcastle would lend her power to a worthless life that was trying to throw itself away. Well, my master is the witch who controls miracles, so it makes sense that she'd appear even for a worthless girl like you.
Good point. Even if Burncastle hadn't appeared, I still would have taken that step off the edge that day.
You really are a cheap and easy woman, aren't you?
Well then, just how much are you worth?
Me? Why Erica cackled was disturbing. Still, Ange realized that this was her way of answering the question. People don't become witches of their own choosing. If they're capable of living, all people want to live their lives as humans. When something comes along to trip up that life, that's when the road to living as a witch opens. Even Fruta Erica, who calls herself the Witch of Truth, must be like this. The two witches of truth sitting here drinking tea without even looking at each other are exactly the same. I like exposing the truth.
I know that.
I like exposing secrets and watching those people turn pale as they wonder how I figured it out. That's when I know I've reached the truth, and it's a moment of ecstasy.
Something seriously wrong with you.
Well then, what does the truth mean to you? Ange was about to give an immediate answer, but she bit back her words. Then she gulped, not knowing how to respond. After all, to Ange, the truth itself was the goal. At first, it was out of hatred. Could Ashumi Ava, the sole survivor of her Kenjima, be the culprit behind everything? She hated Ava, but she had no proof that her aunt was the culprit. And of course, Ava never talked about what happened on the island. So at first, the truth meant proof that Ava was the culprit in Ange's eyes. However, that feeling withered away with Ava's death. Now that Ava was dead, even if Ange did find some kind of proof, it wouldn't mean anything. So, eventually, the truth Ange wanted to find became nothing more than the simple desire to know what happened on that island that day. However, one thing was obvious. Even if she did find out the truth, it wouldn't bring any of her family back to her.
Might not mean anything at all.
You're going to expose the truth your beloved Oni-chan is hiding, even though it's meaningless. You're the one who's not making sense. Erika laughed mockingly. Angie laughed too, as though she agreed.
And so, my own truth became my goal. Maybe you could even call it my reason for living.
So, once you do reach the truth, there won't be any point or purpose to you living anymore, right?
That's right. So I'll die. Hasn't it been long enough? Already lived 12 years too long. But I at least deserve to have a witch appear and grant my wish in my final moments.
Or, to put it simply, you're just tired of life. Does that sum it up?
Yeah. So both my reason for living and my very existence are completely meaningless. That's why this goal of finding the Book of the Single Truth has put a little sparkle back into my life, now that it's nearly over. At least on that score, I'm grateful to have Burncastle.
I see. Battler wants you to live, so he hit the goal line that would lead to your death. I think I pity Battler-san for the first time. After all, you can't choose your little sister. Wow, holy shit.
Sorry, Oni-chan. I'm tired of life. For 12 whole years, been living off nothing but the illusion that someone might have come home someday. Just let me find peace already. Finding the truth of that day is how I've chosen to mark the end of my life. For 12 years I believed in a miracle, but there was none. I don't believe in miracles anymore.
The Book of the Single Truth, huh? Of course, I'm also dying to find out what's in it, but from what I hear, it doesn't sound like the truth inside is something spectacular enough to mark the end of your life with.
Yeah. At first I hoped there would be something earth-shattering in it, but now I've calmed down, I guess you could say.
Any truth served for by a worthless person is bound to be worthless. It'll probably make for a fitting end to your worthless life.
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
Ange was already starting to realize something. Regardless of Ava's reason for staying silent, the real events of that day probably weren't anything earth-shattering. Some sort of malfunction made the bomb in that secret underground base explode. Yeah, it was just an accident. But the public already believed that some sort of conspiracy surrounded the events of that day, so that's what they expected. Ava was a suspect herself, so of course no one would believe her claim that nothing strange happened. Naturally, Ange didn't believe her either. In that case, shutting up like a clam would be better than the alternative. It was hardly surprising that Ava chose to say nothing.
Right, I don't feel any sense of accomplishment. Just feel sort of worn out and listless.
Being able to withstand the truth is what makes someone a witch of truth. Comrade Angie, it looks like you don't possess that strength after all. If you did, you wouldn't be thinking about dying.
You're right. I've dreamed that someone might come back for 12 years. Just used Beatrice's cat box to shut away the truth, denying it for all that time.
When you read the Book of the Single Truth, I wonder what'll happen to you.
Who knows? Won't Burncastle carry out the contract by slicing off my head with a scythe or something? Will I be turned into chunks of meat again? Maybe I'll get some salt and pepper this time.
I bet it's on the second one. I see. So that's where the chunks of meat thing came from.
Did you say something?
Nope, nothing at all. Anyway, would you like some more tea?
No, thank you.
Ange listlessly gazed down from the balcony with no handrail. Down into the darkness of the abyss at the bottom of the bookshelf ravine. No, the gap between the bookshelf skyscrapers. From the beginning...
Until the end of my journey, I haven't taken a single step away from this spot. This journey of mine, not even a single step long, will end soon.
There they are, the skyscrapers of books. And the ravine.
What are those lines of light flowing around at the bottom?
Oh, those? Probably a group of guests coming to the great Lady Aurora's party.
Guests?
Great witches from the Senate. Voyager witches who are trying to escape boredom in their endless travels. Powerful witches who have woken from century-long sleeps, as well as witches who control the future world and noble witch hunters. It seems she's planning to hold a grand party tonight.
What is it, a birthday party or something?
From what I've heard, well, the great Lady Beatrice, the Endless Witch, is an outsider among witches. She's also the genius who created Beatrice's cat box out of her formidable magical compendium, an endless factory capable of producing endless tales. From my point of view, she's just stupid and a weak finisher, but in the world of great witches, she's apparently pretty famous.
So this is Beatrice's birthday party.
My master said she'll be holding a dinner party with Beatrice's guts. After all, it's only natural, right? The cat box was only able to generate infinite tales because there was no single truth. However, tonight, the single truth will be revealed thanks to your key, and that means the cat box will be opened. Really, it's no different from slicing open her chest as she still lives and tearing out what's inside.
Everyone in that huge crowd that looks like a packed freeway is going into one dinner party. Not sure what's stronger, my shock at how famous Beatrice is or my revulsion at those sleaze bags.
You got a party hat on? Felix?
I do have a party hat on
Me
right
too.
now.
Let's go to the party. For you, the Book of the Single Truth is nothing more than an end. However, for all of those enjoying the mystery of Rekenshima, there is an event that can't be missed.
You see, so that's a crowd of the goats who are chewing Oni-chan's game board apart.
Ange's analogy was an accurate one. The crowd far, far below them was made up of nobles wearing beautiful outfits and goat masks. They were all so intent on tearing the guts out of Beatrice's cat box, they couldn't even hide the drool trickling from their mouths. Those gluttonous goat nobles, who derived pleasure from the violence of exposing the truth, were in a line of cars heading towards the meeting place.
Looks like this is the end for Beatrice in the cat box.
Beardo and the others have holed up in the Golden Land, the last remnants of the game board. Battler and Beardo have strengthened their defenses and have destroyed the first wave, but they won't be able to stop the second. My master's given me an armada capable of destroying the very concept of defensive measures. The Golden Land's ramparts are as good as gone.
Those goats who appeared all over the island are the personification of random opinions in the future, and all of them want this island's tale to be a tragedy.
That's right. Those goats kept getting born from the sea of the internet. That first wave was just the riffraff. The second wave will be entirely different. It's made up of the best elite goats selected from the crowd that are capable of denying all the carrying pieces one by one. In total, they number in the hundreds of thousands. 100,000 people deny the existence of a few dozen high on an island.
Looks like this is it for Oni-chan too.
Are you sure you're ready? You understand that Ashumi Battler died in 1986 and that this man is an illusion created by the cat box.
Yeah, I understand. Regardless of whether he's my real brother or an illusion, regardless of whether he's who I'd like him to be or not, Battler who created this game board for my sake will die. No. I'm just gonna accept the fact he's already dead, so it's not like he's actually gonna die.
Ange thought to herself, shouldn't performing her brother's last rites be her responsibility? This is her final trial, which she had assigned to herself. All of those people down on the game board were the personification of Ange's naivete. By denying the existence of all of them, wouldn't she finally be able to accept the truth?
No, that's not right. Not being honest even with myself. That bizarre Halloween party may have been an illusion, but that didn't make it any less heartwarming. Oni-chan said it himself. True, that Halloween party may have been an illusion. However, he was trying to use that party to tell me something. About that second wave.
My master's appointed me to be their commander. Leave it to me, Ange-san. My master isn't so malicious that she'd make you dirty your own hands.
Yeah, that might be kind of her. These are my lingering attachments we're talking about. Should be grateful to Burncastle. If she really were cruel, she'd probably have ordered me to take charge of the second wave and execute my own family.
Comrade Ange, you're a witch of truth, aren't you?
That's right. Probably.
Then accept the truth, okay? Finally, after 12 years, the single truth lies before you.
I'll just sit around here until Burncastle breaks the seal.
You'll probably be summoned as a guest for the party. We've got a mirror, so maybe you should wipe the sleep from your eyes.
Maybe you should shave before heading out to battle.
They just love each other. Perfect monsters.
Oh my goodness.
I know. It floated there in the empty air, the door to the Golden Land. At its base, there was nothing except some floor tiling about as thick as a rug, so it was fairly hard to imagine that this was Kinzo's study. By this point, all of the game board except the Golden Land had been eaten away, leaving only this door floating in a sea of nothingness. There were two shapes in front of that door. They were Battler and Beato. They may not have been literally covered with wounds, but they definitely seemed to be dead tired. Battler, leaning against the door, seemed to have finally caught his breath. Beato was also sitting against the door, letting her legs dangle gracelessly. Could the battle against that force really be called a battle? It was more like a mere pushing contest, on the increasingly small bit of ground that remained. They had wanted to protect at least Kinzo's study no matter what, and the only fruit of their desperate struggle was the thin bit of flooring that they were sitting on now. Those goats fell into the abyss whenever they had nowhere to stand, so now, with so much of the floor gone, there was no way for them to attack anymore. If Battler thought this, his naive hopes were quickly crushed.
Looks like we're surrounded.
They probably planned to gather some forces and crush us in a single stroke.
Okay then.
An armada.
Why not?
She said she was gathering an armada. I don't know what your problem is with this situation. Stretching across the ocean horizon that surrounded the door at their backs was an encirclement of countless large sailing ships. As they could clearly see, the decks of those ships were packed with goats, with some of the more foolish and overeager ones spilling over the edges into the emptiness below.
Dang, I've gone through a lot of crazy stuff in your game, but being surrounded by pirate ships is definitely a first for me.
Yay. They probably do possess the strength to break through the Golden Land's perimeter. Those cannons are no bluff. Doubtless they'll be able to use those to smash this door and pour in. Along the sides of each ship were several open gun ports, each with a cannon pointing at the door. If this many ships all around them fired all of those at once, there was no point trying to imagine what would happen next. Battler and Beato grimaced and hung their heads.
How long will the Golden Land perimeter hold out against those cannons?
I do not know. However, since they are still awaiting reinforcements after amassing that many soldiers, I doubt the barrel will break that easily.
True. Can't think of any other reasons to delay your attack without even sending terms for surrender.
I hope we can take advantage of this time they give us.
Time is always the ally of the weaker side. After all, we can always hope for a miracle.
Lord might just lead us further to despair. At that moment, something small and hard hit Battler in the forehead.
Ah! What the heck is this? Conpedo? It's me! I know where Bern and the others are!
The candy was Lambda Delta's transformed body. She was the only one of their allies capable of crossing the Sea of Fragments. Spectacular! That's the great Lambda Delta for you!
You can see us here. Let's talk inside. This is starting to get messy.
So stupid.
Literally just a talking
She's
piece
just
of candy.
yeah, she's a talking piece of candy about it. Yay, big.
Got it. Is anyone there?
Lady Lambda Delta, best girl. When Battler knocked on the door, it opened and Shannon Cannon came into view.
You called for us.
My apologies, but we need you two to keep a lookout. Leave it to us.
When they begin their attack, don't worry about fighting them. Escape to the Golden Land as soon as they start. Don't worry about closing the door. But that means you're planning to ignore the door and smash the Golden Land directly. Making the last night here won't do anyone any good. I understand.
We'll take care of things here, so go inside and work on a counterattack. We shall. We're counting on you. Battler and Beato traded places with Shannon and Cannon and returned to the Golden Land. Well, Shannon and Cannon always get the worst jobs.
They do.
A gentle rain poured down over the Golden Land's rose garden. The weather here reflected the hearts of those inside it. The quietly falling raindrops spoke for the pain felt by those who could do nothing but hide here, waiting for the enemy's final assault. When they returned to the arbor, that piece of confeito flew out of Battler's pocket, jumped onto the table, and returned to its original form.
I haven't had a throw like this for years. I didn't believe I'd find myself in such a tense situation, even after becoming a witch.
Let's get down to business. Yes. Where the heck are Ange and Burncastle?
They're in the City of Books.
I've heard of it. They say it's a place where great witches, towers of the sea, saw countless fragments in the form of books. You mean the great witcher theatre going down and spectating's noble city of capitalist and books, yes? The great Lady Aurora is the ruler of the City of Books. Indeed, that would be a fitting place for those two to go.
How's it going, Lady Lambda Delta? Hard to believe you could pick out that spot so quickly from all the other possible hiding places.
Actually, it was pretty easy. I didn't even have to search since they're advertising it as loud as they can. They're planning a huge party to celebrate for the announcement of a great secret. The secret to the cat box of the great Lady Beatrice the Endless Witch.
I see. They haven't been delaying their attack because they wait for reinforcements, but because the party has not yet begun. Fools!
So in this party, they plan to use Ange's key and reveal the contents of the Book of the Single Truth.
You've got it. Aurora hasn't held an event like this for ages, and she's gathering VIP guests from all over the place. The Book of the Single Truth will probably be the party's final showpiece.
Means we still have a shot at taking Angie and the key back?
Time-wise, that may be true. However, there's a really simple and obvious problem.
What?
City of Books is its sacred realm under the supervision of the Senate. It's protected by a holy barrier. Only a witch of the Senate can enter it.
Have they invited any non-senators to the party?
They have. Looks like they're being given special invitations which allow them to enter the sacred realm for a limited time.
For only $29.99 USD on Steam. What?
Invitations?
May. Now this could be interesting.
That's what I thought. However, there's a strict policy on punctuality, so these invitations automatically become useless unless you present them before the party begins. And I'm afraid to say the party started a short while ago.
In other words, it's too late to try stealing an invitation from a guest who's running late.
That's right. So, what do we do now? Could someone get me popcorn? I'd like some candy flavor this time.
As an outsider, I hate to barge into this conversation, but we seem to have no options left.
We're already done for, aren't we?
Can't we do anything except sit here until they attack? There must be something we can do.
That's right. There's just one thing we can do.
What's that? We can keep on struggling for each second of survival and hope for a miracle. You tell them.
A miracle.
Get that ready, Yoshi. So we're stuck defending the Alamo.
Yay, Western references.
Yay! Surrender isn't an option. We can only hold out as long as we can, waiting for a miracle. Oh, you! What kind of miracle? There is a chance, maybe 1 in a million, that Ange will change her mind for some reason and come back.
With a probability such as that, it truly would be a miracle.
Yes! We are here to await Ange-san's return. Yes! This right here is the only place Ange-san can call home. So we must defend it to the last minute, waiting for her to come back. Awaiting the return of one's master is a servant's duty! Now that we are here, I, Golda, am prepared for whatever may come. Butler-sama, all of us are prepared, even Golda. Maybe. We of the Chester Sisters Imperial Guard will fulfill our oath and remain by the great Lady Beatrice's side until the bitter end. 4-5 here, no problems. I'll fight until the end. Finally, a fitting place to die, yeah. No problems with 410, yeah.
The 7 Sisters of Purgatory will stay with Beatrice Samar and Battler Samar until it's all over.
The 6 younger sisters also showed their resolve with their eyes.
Eiserne Jungfrau will serve until the end. This former SSVD's got your back too.
And I asked that you lend us your power as well.
Me? No way. Did I just give you some excellent intel? I think I've done more than my fair share, don't you?
Done nothing. How do you know that Ange-chan is in the City of Books?
I saw it with my own eyes, of course. I never trust anything unless I see it for myself.
Which means you're qualified to enter this sacred realm called the City of Books, right? Indeed. The great Lady Lambda Delta is a witch of the Senate, after all.
Lambda Delta.
What's with you guys? You aren't gonna tell me to do more work, are you?
Yes.
My, what an unexpected development.
Lady Lambda Delta is the only one who can enter the City of Books.
Could that possibly mean?
That this is Lady Lambda Delta's time to shine?
Enough kidding around, are you people crazy?
Yes!
You're telling me to go all by myself
Yes!
and sneak into there one more time and then bring Angie back out here.
The several dozen people surrounding Lambda Delta all nodded in unison.
How stupid can you be? If I save Angie, I'll be crushing the Great Aurora's party, get it? If the whole world is my enemy. And what's in it for me? Nothing, obviously. There's nothing you could possibly offer me that'd be worth getting in on the bad side of Aurora and making her monster friends.
But the happy ending. Yay, go Leon. You'll get to see a happy ending. When Aurora and Picasso's schemes are crushed, Ange comes back and everyone makes peace with one another. What do you say, Lady Lambda Delta? There could be no greater thrill. If you pulled off such a marvelous feat, you would be able to forget your illness for 1,000 years, would you not?
We're begging you, Lambda Delta. Lend us your power.
Please, please, we're begging you, help us save Angie! Everyone surrounded Lambda Delta, asking for her help. Please, Lady Lambda Delta, only you can do this.
Give us your strength. I'll show you the greatest of tales. You'll get to see it from the front row. So please, lend us your strength.
Shut up! Shut the hell up!
God damn it, Lambda. Lambda, please. Lambda, please. Lambda Delta leapt to her feet and crushed the cup of popcorn in her hands. Sweet, candy-flavored popcorn flew all over the place, hitting everyone in the face. It might have looked funny, however, no one laughed. Lambda Delta's face was filled with a rage that none of them had seen before.
Please stop getting the wrong idea. I'm a spectator. A spectator! I'm just a guest who was invited by Beato to come and watch this game. So why should I risk my life for you people? You think you'd get a happy ending if Angie comes back? Are you really this stupid? Bernadette forces will come sweeping through here, mad with rage, and wipe us all out. There's only one reason I'm here, and that's because Leon over there said I'd get to see an interesting show. Yeah, and now I'm sure I'll get to see a sublimely interesting tale very soon. A sad, sad tragedies you fight desperately against burn forces and get wiped out one by one. I'm sure you'll each get one last time to shine as you're torn apart. If I just wait a little, I'll get to see all that, won't I? Pretty soon, all of you will be dead, but not me. I'm a spectator, a guest. There's absolutely no reason for me to die with you.
I'm having way too much fun voicing
I can tell. It's good. I'm glad I gave you this voice.
I'm glad I actually spent time working on it.
Working on it? Yeah. No one's able to say a word. In the still silence where there was no sound except that of the rain, even Lambda Delta finally hung her head in dismay.
This is Lambda again?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm totally lame, aren't I? Sure, if I stood right up and said, leave it to me, my popularity would surge and I'd probably make it into the top 3 next character ranking contest. But still, unlike the rest of you, I'm not a character who appears in the story. I can't die. It's like it's midnight and you're telling me that the climax of the show is coming up next. But tomorrow's Monday and I've got early cleaning duty at school. We live in completely different worlds. And so...
Lambda Delta staggered as though dizzy, then plopped down into a chair. Then she became expressionless like a doll, just staring at a single point in space silently.
Sorry?
Battler softly apologized. However, Lambda Delta remained expressionless.
It's not fair for us to force you to risk something on your own, not when we haven't yet exhausted all our options.
Come on, Lambda.
We'll fight here and defend this spot until the last moment. We'll believe in the miracle of Angie choosing us over the single truth. If we weren't prepared to do that, we could hardly ask you to give up your life along with the rest of us.
Battler rose from his seat and span around. Battler...
I'll switch places with the pair outside. When the enemy comes, I want to be in the front lines. That's the fastest and most direct way I can show Lambda Delta my determination.
I shall go as well. Teacher, please, find Lady Lambda Delta some more popcorn. Beato, I know Ange will return. Without belief, even miracles that might have occurred will not. You can't win a lottery unless you buy a ticket. Beato also stood up and followed Battler. Everyone, let's do what we can to prepare for the fight.
Yeah, it'd be stupid to just sit around doing nothing.
Good point. Let's at least give him a good show at the
Thank
end.
goodness I picked up this gun on the way out.
I got one up against those guns. I'm ready to show them what for.
We've got to make sure there's a place Angie-chan can call home.
We all have guns.
We should hold a strategic conference, too.
Yay.
Yeah, we have furniture, weapons, demons, and inquisitors on our side. There's got to be some way for these mismatched forces to cooperate.
Let's go, little sisters. Break time is over.
Look at how happy they all are.
Oh. Lambda Delta helped them. Cheers, the troopers. Rise. The humans and illusions all rose to their feet and left the arbor. Afterwards, only Lambda Delta remained, still staring blankly at a point in empty space. Oh.
I was kind of hoping for a Lambda soliloquy there.
Maybe later.
Oh boy.
Let's hope it's...
What is going on here?
Actually, I think I know. Yeah, one more. Oh, it's Ava. How you doing, Ava?
That black tea bag smells nice. Is it instant or from a tea bag?
Oh, would you like some too, Comrade Ava? We're out of cups, so you'll have to use a funnel. A gold butterfly drifted onto the balcony and turned into Ava. As you do.
How's Burncastle doing? Will it be a while longer before she breaks the seal on the Book of the Single Truth?
That's what I came to talk about. She says the seal has been broken.
Congratulations, so the time has finally come. The period to mark the end of your life.
Take the key and go to Lady Burncastle. One of her cat familiars will guide you.
2 emerald sparkles flew in. They were the green glinting eyes of a black cat. The cat flicked its tail elegantly, with the dignity of a high-class attendant.
High-class attendants, well known for having tails.
Yes. Coattails.
Got it, and I'll be back in a bit.
Ange rose from her seat. She did it casually, as though she really was just heading out for a short trip. However, her lips would probably never touch her half-finished cup of tea again. It's a tragedy. We weren't together long, but I enjoyed it. Getting to learn what disgust for your own kind is like was an enlightening experience.
Same here. Next time we meet, you'll have to teach me the trick to making tea this terrible.
Oh my god.
You happy? Now you'll finally get to learn that secret I've been hiding from you these past 12 years.
I'm happy. Yeah, now I can understand how Erica feels. It's like I'm taking a shot back at you, exposing the secret you kept under your death.
Isn't it a good feeling?
Well, it's better than nothing.
Oh my god. Ange nodded towards the black cat to let it know that she was ready. I'm just enjoying having a scene full of the most spiteful characters
Just
too
all
much.
together, yeah.
It's just wonderful. The cat nodded back in a refined manner, indicated that it wanted Ange to follow, and leapt from the balcony. Without turning back, Ange followed it, jumping out into the air as though swimming. Ava watched her go. An expression of ridicule and scorn failed to cross her face.
Good luck, Angie. This is a path you've chosen. You aren't 6 years old anymore. You're 18. Choose how you live your own life.
What an overprotective aunt you are.
I'm going to watch the ceremony. What about you?
It's almost time to begin the attack, so I'm heading for the ships. I've got to go pick up Beto's corpse. Everyone at the party can have her guts, but I get to keep her skin, so let's stuff and mount it.
So even Rekenjima's tale, which was wrapped in a veil of mysteries, is about to meet its end.
Which means it's also the end for you. I mean, you are a piece from there, right?
A piece is all I am. The role of a piece is to remain faithful to its role until the game ends. It's not a piece's place to worry about what happens after the game is over.
True. And it's the same for me. Let's both enjoy this time while we have it. Well then, allow me to take my leave.
Later, good luck with your work.
After exchanging elegant bows, the 2 witches vanished at the same time. Nothing remained except some half-finished teacups and the aroma of the tea itself.
Oh boy!
One after another, luxury cars stopped in front of a high-class hotel in the city, and guests began to step out of them. We'll play this guy. Some random dude.
Hey, Professor Itsuki!
Oh, what a surprise! I haven't seen you since the last convention! All of the guests gathered here were very rich and cultured. A single hobby tied all of them together. They were witch hunters. Like-minded people who enjoyed exploring various interpretations of the Rekenjima mystery. So I wonder if it's really true to think that this diary of Ashumi Avis actually exists. Oh, the same guy. True, I've heard the rumors myself. This is that legendary secret diary, which Ashumi Ava hid away just before her death. It is said that she recorded the details of Rekenjima's truth in there, just like that fable of the king with the donkey's ears. Humans are tragic creatures, incapable of keeping truly silent regarding secrets only they could know.
What I heard, a collector from Dubai offered to buy it for $10 million.
Incredible! More evidence of the fascination that the Rekenjima mystery is capable of stirring. Conversations like this were breaking out passionately all over the place. Furthermore, it wasn't just guests who were allowed to enter. The press was also there in force. The Rekenjima mystery was such a large movement that it became a social phenomenon at one point. Though it had died down slightly in recent years, it was still a topic fiercely debated across the internet. There was hardly any surprise that the discovery and imminent release of Ashumi Ava's diary, which contained the truth of that mystery, had caused an uproar. And on top of all of that, the mysterious forger Itoi Kukuro was to appear publicly for the first time. In fact, it seemed that Itoi Kukuro and Hachiji Toya, the up-and-coming mystery novelist, were the same person. Of course, this meant that Hachijou Toya would also be appearing in public for the first time. Though she was thought to be a male author, the fact that she was actually a mysterious woman author alone was enough to cause a stir. Before the diary unveiling party, a press conference is held in one of the rooms of the hotel. Indeed, I am Hachijou Toya.
Madam Hachijou, we know that in your previous book signings, you were so determined to not show yourself that you even used a body double. So what caused you to change your mind and appear before us this time?
Ah yes, well, the legend of the Rikkenshima witch has given birth to endless tales. Considering the weight of such a legend's demise, and being the mere writer that I am, I feel obligated to show myself as a sign of respect.
As a forger, you announced on the web that you had reached the truth. Does that mean you've already read the contents of the diary?
And very soon, those contents will be revealed to everyone.
Pardon me for asking, but is there any guarantee that the contents of this diary are the truth? One might view it as nothing more than a personal account from a single deceased person.
Not at all, I guarantee it. The truth is recorded in this diary.
And there's the red truth being used in the real world, supposedly.
Shocking.
Oh! A stir passed through the crowd, and the room was suddenly filled with camera flashes. This ends Madam Hachijou's interview. Allow us to express our deep gratitude towards all members of the press for coming on this day. And now we would like to move on and allow you to take photos of Madame Ashurmiyeva's diary. A hotel worker pushed forward a cart covered by a veil. Then, after looking to Hachijou for approval, he removed the veil. There lay Ashurmiyeva's diary. The book of the single truth sat there, waiting for its seal to be released. Hachijou held it to her chest and laughed enigmatically. Camera flashes came from everywhere, making the book of the single truth glint. And that is all for now. If you would all please move to the assembly hall. Still holding the diary, Hachijou left the press conference room, escorted by men from the hotel, until she went through a door that said, authorized personnel only. The journalists continued to surround her and ask questions, hoping to gather just one more comment. When the door slammed shut, the world twisted. The hotel employees became black cats wearing capes. Hachijou had turned into Featherin. Things are getting pretty crazy out there. Did you enjoy it?
Oh, how tiring. Still, that went well. And yet, this diary truly is heavy.
Featherin tossed the diary and Castle caught it.
I'd like to imagine Hachijou just literally pegging a book at a cat.
She just like
Take
flies.
this!
Yeah, she just like flies across the room.
I will rest in one of the waiting rooms.
You're going to be up again pretty soon. There's no time to rest.
In that case, call it a short break so that I can properly enjoy this long-awaited excitement.
I need to borrow that book. I promised Ange that I'd show her first.
I see. In that case, do as you please.
Featherin left, followed by her cat attendants. After watching her until she was out of sight, Castle disappeared as well. Like Erica's room, Castle's was a balcony without a handrail that could have a bookshelf cliff. Ange had been kept waiting for some time, but she had waited patiently, looking down at the world below her. I'm late, aren't I? Sorry about that. After Castle appeared, the black cats gave a bow and vanished. Here you go, I've brought it with me. The book of the single truth.
Can I touch it?
Do as you like. Castle set it down on the table and beckoned Ange forward. Slowly, Ange approached it.
So this is Aunt Ava's diary.
That's right. Inside it, you'll find the single truth that you wanted. You do have the key, right?
Yeah, right here.
Ange took the key out, looked at it there on her palm, then gripped it tightly. Even the heavy lock that held the diary so securely was fated to be swept aside easily as soon as Ange readied herself. I won't rush you. You don't have to open it until you're ready.
This includes the truth of what happened at midnight on October 5th, 1986, right?
Yes, it has everything that you wanted to know so much. You offered up your life. In that instant, two Anges appeared inside of her, taking control of her body at the same time. On the one hand, she knew that she had already paid a great price to learn the truth. This part of her gripped the key, wanting to avoid a second of hesitation that might lead her to refuse to learn the truth now. The final moment, with the book of the single truth right before her. On the other hand, a feeling as though she was betraying the brother and family who watched over her warmly made her bite her lower lip. However, though she shook, she could do nothing but watch as her right hand slowly brought the key towards the lock.
What am I hesitating for? Inside this diary is the final destination of my sad, painful 12-year-long journey. Wasn't 12 years enough? Don't want to keep living that way. That brother is an illusion created by my heart. A naive hope that a miracle might still occur. If I put two options on a scale, then the path I should choose is clear. Slowly I pushed the key into the lock and twisted. The lock opened with a click, and at the same time it felt as though a crack ran through the key in my hands.
Oh boy.
Maybe a part of that intricate design had fallen off. Couldn't tell where it was broken just by glancing at it. But for some reason its golden glint seemed dulled somehow.
It's because you've made your choice with that key. A bit of magic has disappeared.
What kind of magic?
Didn't Battler tell you? He said you couldn't hand that over to anyone else. That magic, which left the decision to you, has just fulfilled its role and disappeared. That key is just a key now. You can't do anything but lock and unlock that diary.
I see. I guess I have no more use for Oni-chan's key.
Can I have it? Once you've read the diary, I'll lock it up again. Opening that lock will be a big part of tonight's ceremony, it seems.
I see. Do whatever you want. Don't give a damn about what happens after I find the truth. Castle slid the key from where it lay on the table and put it into her pocket.
Go ahead then, before the courage that led you here fades.
I lifted up Aunt Ava's now unlocked diary. The lock was unset. Even the hinge had been released by now. Nothing stands in the way of me opening the pages within. I thought of taking a deep breath. However, I decided against it. I prepared myself for this long ago. So it'd be stupid to fuel my reluctance further.
Oh boy.
I opened it. Violently, ruthlessly. I knew this was the right way to open the pages that held the truth. As soon as the cover was open, a brilliant light poured out and my mind went hazy. The truth was sent to my mind directly without letters or words. Tell me what happened that day on Rikkenjima. Yep, master keys, lamps, important part of the murder. So we found the gold. Shannon's in a tunnel. There's some blood. Nice, good, I'm happy with that.
Yeah?
My consciousness returned gradually. Nothing was written in the book open before me. Of course, this is my own blank and empty notebook. I was at school just sitting idly with my notebook open. The world had stopped. Hands on the clock had stopped too. In that case, the auditorium should have been filled with silence. Or I could hear a small commotion. In this world of suspended time, I could see dark shapes sneaking about in the shadows of unmoving students. They're students with goat heads. They're sneaking glances at me from behind the frozen students, whispering something to each other. I know, I can hear them. Everybody knows. One after another, students with goat heads grew out of shadows all over the room. That's new. They slipped around, the students stopped in time and gathered around me. And they all jeered out something in unison as if they knew I could hear, shouted me with giggles and gossip and sneers. However, nothing came from that goat's mouths. Nothing that came from the goat's mouths reached my ears as words. This was a world without letters or words, so no words reached me. However, their emotions and meanings did reach me, so I knew what it was they were saying, and then I was able to visualize it. One after another, the goats opened their massive jaws, showing their fangs that dripped with saliva, and came forward to bite me. Time was stopped for me. I was aware, but I couldn't move. It wasn't literally true. However, I was pretending that I couldn't hear, so I couldn't move. The goats bit me all over my body, leaving their fang marks licking me. Maybe they didn't like the taste of my clothes. Taking advantage of the fact I couldn't move, they chewed through my clothes one by one. Over and over again, the goats stuck their tongues, their jaws, their fangs into my naked body. I was covered with drool and bitten all over. Bright red teeth marks left behind as sharp fangs pierced my skin, leaving trails of blood. They licked up that blood like real goats. hurting and humiliating me. As I hung my head, one of the goats pulled on my hair, forcing me to look up and spoke. They didn't say it with concepts, but with words I could hear. However, they weren't words of the human world. They were a witch's words. The red truth, which signifies the truth is certain.
This is the truth of the Rekenjima incident.
I won't accept it.
Doesn't matter if you accept it or not. This is the truth, after all.
Excellent.
Yep,
Even better.
I know.
I won't accept it. I won't accept the truth like that.
Whether you accept it or not, that doesn't change the truth. After all, this is a single truth proven in red.
Who cares about the truth? So stupid, so pointless. I'm the one who gets to decide if that's the truth or not, right? Even if it's red truth, I won't acknowledge it, won't forgive it, definitely won't accept it. The red truth is absolute. Who for? It's absolute for you guys, right? Not for me. I won't let you contaminate my truth with yours.
Ange, calm down. You're the one who wanted to know, right?
My truth is that Aneva's the culprit. Aneva killed everyone. Everything's her fault. That Mom and Oni-chan and all the others are just victims. It's no one's fault. No one's fault. Of course it isn't. Of course it isn't.
Your aunt will always be on your side, Angie-chan.
Yeah, I get it. I know what you meant. That's right, Aneva, you're the culprit. You're the culprit. It's the world that's messed up and broken for not realizing that. I'm the right one. I'll deny the red truth, deny the whole world.
I see. In that case, try writing a red truth only you can write. But how is it possible for a human to write with red truth?
It is possible. There's a red ink that only humans can write with.
Angie-san, please calm down.
I'm the right one. The world's wrong. I'll write it. I'll record the truth with the real red truth.
20. Requesting urgent support on the roof. Ange-san, hold on. Please, think this over. Look out! Goodbye, Ange. Have a nice day.
I'll write it out. This is my blood red truth. Never accept the truth of your world.
Ange's body went past the edge of the balcony. The air, which she had once been able to swim through, was now completely merciless for some reason. Ange's body plunged straight into the darkness below. When Castle just watched the scene play out in silence, behind her, men in black suits rushed up to the fence, clutching it and screaming. 20! Angie-san just jumped off!
Damn, I can't see her from here.
Quickly! Investigate the ground area!
It's no use, there's no way.
Maybe she was caught by that safety net! Let's make sure! What fools. If you jump straight down from this height, do you really think such a flimsy safety net could possibly save you? As the Witch of Miracles, I, Burn Castle, guarantee that such a miracle certainly won't occur. Ange's body fell from the skyscraper-like bookshelf and slammed against the floor of the ceiling of books. Looking down from Ben Castle's balcony, which was as high as the skyscraper's roof, did it look like a lovely red-pressed flower? No, you couldn't see it at all, just like how the death of a single lonely girl who rejected the world didn't matter to anyone in the world. She probably died instantly. It was only natural. She had fallen straight down from this height after all. Is it even conceivable that she wouldn't die instantly after something like that? The index finger on the right hand of her corpse stuck out as though it was tracing something. Could it be that, by some impossible miracle, she had really had escaped an instant death? And could the red blood that had drained from her at the moment of her death have been the ink that drew her own personal red truth? However, no one would ever be able to tell what she had written. After all, the red blood pouring from her corpse had run over it all. Even this was one of your choices, Ange. Oh.
Oh.
1 point to Rikushi.
1 point.
Ava was looking down at the beautiful flower of blood radiating from Ange's corpse.
I tried to keep you alive. However, you never tried to live in the future that began after the age of 6. And so after 12 years, you finally returned to where you started.
The eyes on Ange's corpse were closed. However, there was no way of knowing if this was a peaceful thing. Eventually, the corpse began to melt away. At the end, it would become a messy lump of flesh with only a few parts recognizable as human. It was hardly surprising. How else would she look after falling from that height and slamming against the asphalt?
You managed to die. However, this doesn't mean that everyone will be waiting for you in heaven. After all, you reached this place by rejecting all of those in heaven. See you in hell. That's probably where we are right now. So long, Angie.
Ah, Ava. Perfect timing.
Did you call for me, my master?
Clean up the scrap meat for me if you wouldn't mind. I'm going to take this back. In Castle's hands were the key, which had lost its magic when Ange made her decision, and the book of the single truth, which had been locked up again.
As you wish, my master.
After looking down one more time, Castle vanished. Once she had gone, Ava summoned some cat familiars and ordered them to clean up. The black cats gathered Ange's flesh and scattered limbs and threw them into a tin bucket. Even in this miserable form, Ange's soul was still living. Perhaps living is a poor description. She was unable to die. From now on, forever, she would drift along in the deepest depths of oblivion, covered by the dust of oblivion, till she finally disappeared. She continued to question herself. What did the truth mean to her? What was right, and where was the place she could call home? As her flesh began to cool, even the energy to ask these questions began to fade. Eventually, she would forget her everyday memories, and even the reason why she was suffering. However, there was one thing she would never forget. That was the anguish. From this point forth, she would suffer endlessly without even knowing why. By the time the cats finished flinging her corpse into the bucket and dumping it into the sea of nothingness, Ange had forgotten even her own name. That was intense.
I know.
That's the book of the single truth.
The book of the single truth.
How'd you like it, honestly? How'd you feel about that?
I mean, it's exactly what I expected.
Yeah.
And just asterisks.
Yeah, no. Like, she reads the truth. It's there, but we're not going to tell you what it is.
See, in my head, I still believe the end of episode 7 is the closest thing we've gotten to the truth thus far.
Sure.
But yeah, it's also kind of not the point, right?
Mm-hmm. The point isn't to know the truth. Of course.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Who's this?
I'm not sure. It might be Ange. I'm not sure, though. I'll be real honest.
Take it neutral.
What's this sound I keep hearing? Yes, it must be the sound of rain. In that case, what are those two bright lights coming towards me? This is you.
Angie?
No.
Battler.
Go with a neutral voice for now, but you should take the scene.
I don't know. However, they came at me with a screeching sound and stopped right in front of me. The blaring noise came at me over and over. Whatever's shining those bright lights is threatening me. It's probably telling me to get out of the way. However, I was incapable of moving even a finger. A sound and a car door opened. Car door. Apparently, I was lying on asphalt under the pouring rain. There you go.
That's the end of a chapter.
There you go. Magic.
You believe in magic or miracles?
Of course not,
You
Ben.
sexy
That would be
thing.
silly.
Yeah. What? Miracles don't exist.
That's right. They
Glenn said
don't.
so herself.
That's right. The Witch of Miracles told us so herself.
We should believe her.